I got excited though when you started talking to me last time we spoke about exploration. Okay, because again, you've got two assets, but in between, you've also got a big land package here. You've got some anomalies, which you talked to me about. And to me, that struck me as even more exciting than Coringa. With no disrespect to Coringa, Coringa will produce cash, and you'll do well there. But talk to me about what you've been able to do since we spoke, because obviously you still haven't got people back on site. You haven't got the exploration team on site. But has your thinking evolved in terms of how you're going to approach this over the next couple of quarters?
Well, I want to talk about the Palito and Sao Chico exploration lot, but before we walk away from Coringa itself, which I've never talked to you about before, has amazing exploration potential upside around it.
Talk to me about that then.
It's a garimpo that produced, an artisan mine that produced 300,000 ounces of gold, and it's a huge potential. So I don't want to sort of underplay Coringa. It's a producing asset, but it can be so much more. But anyway, but you're absolutely right. We were flying with exploration before the pandemic really meant that we would actually have to stop. And unfortunately, the exploration guys, as is often the case, when something negative happens, like the company's got no money, which wasn't our case, but there's some kind of need, they're the guys that get stopped. And unfortunately, it was with huge reluctance that we stopped the drilling at Palito and Sao Chico. But we needed the bed space, as I explained before. We have a camp good for 360 people in normal conditions. In pandemic conditions, we don't have a camp to accommodate those people. So the exploration people, we had to kick them out of bed and say, sorry guys, you're going to have to go home for a few months because we need the space for the producing guys and the workforce to actually have more social space. So that was the key, and everyone understood it, keeping the workforce safe, etc. The right thing to do. Pleased to say, I mean, you remember that we were doing basically taking over area. There were three. The exploration was kind of on three fronts. The main one we were doing at Sao Chico, we were doing deep drilling in the mine itself, exploration drilling, going tremendously well, get some fantastic mineable intersections, 200 meters below our feet, below our lowest level. So it's going down at depth, which is great. So it's open and going that direction. And of course, we were drilling to the west, particularly of the main deposit, and we had done step-out drilling going up to nearly 400 meters west of the mine limit, which basically doubles the strike length of the deposit. And then a further 700 meters, we have these geophysical anomalies, which we found from the survey in 2018, which we got our first intersections into those bearing gold over mineable width. So, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to sort of go, hang on a minute, this all lines up, and if it all joins up, we've got a very nice 2 kilometer long potential ore zone here. And, that's going to, if that all comes through with drilling and proving up, we are looking at a resource that can certainly support a mineable rate far greater than what we do today, which then brings the question, are you still going to keep trucking ore from Sao Chico all the way to Palito? I mean, surely you're going to want to put some kind of pre-concentration or a little plant down here. We're not there yet, but this question needs answering. Palito, or between Palito and Sao Chico, the other big work that we did was the geochemical program we were doing. And that was, came to the culmination of that in April time. And we found we got this tremendous copper anomaly, soil anomaly, which sits over a big geophysics anomaly. And we got very excited about that because that was really, that may show potential of many deposits like Palito and Sao Chico, but multiple ones. But it could also be an indicator of bigger, more large scale type mineralization, which is something which, mining high grade veins is great, but if we can find some scale in there too, will be brilliant. And two in particular lie to the south of Palito called Juca and Calico. And these we've actually done more work on, tighter space geochemistry, etc. And they've got really nice coincidental, really nice high grade gold anomalies in the geochemistry as well. And these really do look like Palito lookalikes, both of them. So, and the beauty about those two is they're only 5Ks from Palito. So again, you're looking at that and thinking, well, we drill those out. So we've got a really interesting conundrum. It's almost like a race between, what's actually happening at Sao Chico, what's going to happen at Juca and Calico, and, where's the plant expansion going to be? Because today we have a plant that's too small. The ore sorter liberated some space, but it's not going to liberate, if these things start coming off, it won't be able to handle what the mining can throw at it. we do need to expand the plant somewhere. The question is, we don't know where. The only way we're going to find out is push on with the exploration. So I'm dead keen to get going with that. Hopefully, we're going to get everyone back at site probably in September, the contractors, and we'll be back to where we left off, and we'll.
So how do you go about planning something like that? Because again, we're getting to some juicy, interesting area. Because as you say, if the plant isn't big enough to deal with the potentially, you've got to work out how you finance all of this as well. Does this come out of cash flow? And what is the opportunity that it opens up? Do you know what I mean? Because people want to know: are we talking about some sort of fundraise, or are we talking about actually we're producing enough cash to actually develop this into the next iteration, the next step change in the company's organic growth?
Yeah, so certainly what I just explained to you, that's coming out of cash flow. We're not looking at.
Okay, good.
We're not doing. Come to build the plant, we'll have to see where we are. But when we do put a plant in, or wherever we might put it, now all that exploration work we're talking about, that's coming out of the cash flow.